What is going on, lovely people? Listen, don't just don't just sell your home, but let's think about how to use that for your legacy. And today, I want to talk about three things that's going to help you think through this correctly. Because most people that I realize they do a couple things. Well, they don't think about one of the largest financial assets that you have right now is your home. So think about how much equity do I actually have, and what can I walk away with, and how should I use this? Most of the time, people think about like, hey, I want to upsize, I want to get a bigger home, I want to invest, and even I'm gonna tell you a story of a lady I just literally left and wanted to put them in a better situation, and so um, but selling your home should never be like just another transaction. You need to be strategic about it or just be thinking through it. And most of the time, what I've realized is that people who take out time and think it through, they actually get more because they know where they're going. So here's the one of the first steps. So your home is not just a shelter, right? It stores wealth. And here's what I mean. You hear me talk about invest, invest, invest. Like, but some of the biggest investment that most people will ever make is what they're living in right now. And most families, like I said, the biggest financial asset is what you're sitting in right now. And you don't even realize it. So just think about this. If your home have been quietly building equity over time, what does that mean? So you've been making sure your value of your home goes down. And how does your value of your home go down? Well, when you make your payments monthly, you don't realize, but you start having equity. And most of the time, we don't see this. And this is what, if you ever hear me talk about this in my other lives, the point that I'm making is that like when you are paying your balance down, what happens? The 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 value of the house is going up. Why? Because appreciation. So think about it. Your home right now can help you use that as a down payment to get your next home. And this is why I'm so huge on like you being able to own what you live in. Because oftentimes when we have like a big lump sum of money, chances are we won't ever just have 150,000, 100,000, 400,000, 500,000, a million. We won't just mostly have that all at once. But what we have to realize is that over time, when we make payments, when we actually um, take the time out to see that we pay that over time, and when you're ready to make a decision, you say, okay, man, like, how am I gonna get all this money? Or you have a lot of debt, how am I gonna pay all this money? Like, what do I need to do here? And that's where you need to like make sure how education work. And like right now, when it comes to the timing of this, the timing of year, like now is a perfect time. And so let's not only one see where you're at, what's coming with the value, and that's where you see, okay, what is my house worth? And if I was to sell, then what's going to be the difference that I could get back, right? Maybe some charges that I need to think of that I don't know that's there. Uh, but before we get into that, let's go to the second point. So the second point is this. So timing the market versus, excuse me, timing the market versus timing your life. So here's the real thing that most people have to realize is that your family is growing or your family is shrinking. Majority of the time, you're doing one of the two, and your house either needs to be upgraded or need to be downsized. So, and even if your family is not shrinking, maybe you at one point had a big family, you need to downsize, or maybe you have you're ready to relocate. And you need to take that money so that you can be able to move to another place, and you need to have some money to be able to do so. Or maybe you are want to use your equity to make an investment. Like this is a big. This is like one of the main reasons that I see a lot of people willing to make investments, but also willing to look at her, what do I own and how can I put myself in a better position? Or maybe you just have some debts that you need to pay off. And here's another thing. I think like for all my single parents out there, this is like huge. Maybe you want to put your kid, in some form of trade or school, or you want to get them educated and help get the better resources so you can be in a better position. Guess what? When you have and own your home, you have that option. So I'm gonna tell a story. Like for us, when we first bought our very first house, we was probably a couple years in, and then once we realized, hey, well, maybe we can actually take some of this money and get an investment property. And that's how our investment property started. But it was literally just our very first house. And when we started educating ourselves, we started getting around, obviously, more of the investor mindset. We started realizing, hey, I can use this equity to get another investment. And so by using that, we was able to build up our real estate portfolio, and we got several of investments, excuse me, and it helped us out. And so the thing that I want you guys to think of, and I gotta get over here and make sure nobody's saying nothing because I made a mistake last time. But the biggest thing for me is like putting yourself in a better position. Okay, so the equity you have, how can we use that? And so we did it. I'm telling you, when you think about how to use the money that you have in your home already, it's game changing. Now, let me give you a myth. Like, now this is an extra, because this is a myth that I feel like so many people actually miss on when it comes to the real estate. Even though your equity, like, it's going to be a certain amount, and you can decide to wait. But here's the thing: just as much as the value of your house is going up, it's also going to mean the value of the property is going to go up. And the properties that you want to buy. Now, say you're staying in the same city, and you are staying in the same city. Why? Because you know that over time we are going to want to move or get something newer. And this is normal. Like people want to, like I said, upgrade, downgrade, or whatever. But the I have one client that like one of the hurdles that I have to help them see, like you can wait, but you wanting to wait for like the perfect scenario, it's not on the internet. And this is what a lot of people and what I spend a lot of time with trying to help other people understand. Like the deal that you want is not just like open online, right? And even if it is, somebody else is waiting for it and already ready. They've taken the time out to see what the value of the house is going to be, or how much they can be able to get back, what they can be able to do next. And that takes like strategy. That takes like strategically thinking through things and not just winging it. And even if you did wing it, you still got to say, well, how much am I going to get out of all this? So, and that's why, number 3, every seller needs a plan before you list. And here's why. You need to, number 1, see how much your equity you have in your house. What selling it you will get to net. So maybe you have a payoff. Maybe you owe the bank. Majority of the time, that's the normal thing. And maybe you have some liens on your houses. And maybe you don't know what you owe on your house. And that generally happens if you're like a family member who got a house passed down to them and it was probate. And you're just trying to understand how to maneuver the process. And so, and then where that money should go next. Like if you say, okay, I need to want to sell my house, but then how or in what way will I use this money? And if you understand how you're going to use the money, then you are really ready to be able to sell. And so the truth and the reality of being able to understand how to position yourself in a better position is a home sale without a plan is just a transaction, okay? And don't get me wrong, that transaction has to be very strategic so you can make sure you're putting yourself in a better position, all right? So listen, I appreciate you for watching this. And if you say, hey, I want to kind of see what my home is worth, I want to see how much I can be able to get for it, and see what will be the best next step for me, because I don't know what's going on. Maybe I'm relocated, maybe, I'm having health concerns, or I'm having family issues, or maybe I just got too much of a house that I can't take care of, or you just have desire to invest and you say, how can I tap into this money, and you get an investment, whatever it is. So you can be able to comment legacy, and as you share this with someone else and they're thinking about being able to sell, or thinking about just kind of taking that first step, that's what we're for. So we are having a meeting in the morning with someone who decided, like, hey, we know this is what we're doing, so we just need to understand how to go about it. So listen, appreciate you for watching. Jabari, Legacy Real Estate, and my job is to be able to help you and position you in a better position to be able to get you and your family in a better wealth position. So appreciate you for taking our time for watching, and guess what? Your legacy begin when your excuses end. All right, we'll see you on Cash Flow Friday.